The chosen ones. Within certain souls, there is a power that does not announce itself. It does not arrive with noise or force. It does not demand to be seen. It simply rests deep beneath the surface, like embers that have been burning long before anyone thought to look. These are the chosen ones. From the outside, they appear unremarkable. They speak without urgency. They live without excess. They move through the world with a quietness that can easily be confused with ordinariness. But beneath that calm is something ancient, something rooted in a depth most people have never touched. They have been misread, dismissed, pushed to the edges of rooms they were meant to lead, mocked for qualities that others could not understand. And through all of it, they remained, still, present, unbroken. Not because nothing touched them, but because they are anchored in something that cannot be moved. Before we continue, I want you to slow down for just a moment. Take a breath, let your shoulders drop, and recognize that you are here, in this moment, receiving this message. There are no accidents in timing. If something in you was searching for clarity, for confirmation, for a sense that what you carry inside is real and purposeful, let this be the answer to that search. If these words speak to your soul, subscribe to this channel. It exists for those walking a path of spiritual depth and intentional truth. And if this message arrived at exactly the right moment, leave 1111 in the comments. Let it be a quiet declaration that your spirit is open and ready. 1. Their stillness holds more power than any argument ever could. A chosen one does not engage with every storm that blows their way. You can challenge them, criticize them, try to pull them into conflict, and they will simply become still. That stillness is not avoidance, it is mastery. It is a soul that has learned the difference between what deserves a response and what deserves only silence. And that silence does something unexpected. It becomes a mirror. It returns your own energy back to you, unfiltered. And in that reflection, you begin to feel what you brought into the space. The restlessness, the need to be right, the urgency that was never really about them. They said nothing, and somehow, that nothing said everything. 2. Their presence makes honesty unavoidable. A chosen one is not searching for your hidden truths. They are not studying you or waiting for you to slip. But something about the clarity they carry makes pretending feel exhausting. The stories you have told yourself begin to feel fragile. The walls you have built begin to feel unnecessary. The wounds you have covered begin to ache in ways you can no longer ignore. This is not because they exposed you. It is because their frequency, calm, clear, and deeply honest, creates an environment where deception cannot find rest. Every part of yourself you have kept in the shadows begins to rise, not with accusation, but with quiet insistence. And in that moment, a choice appears. Face what is surfacing or turn away from it. The chosen one does not make that choice for you. They simply make it impossible to pretend the choice does not exist. 3. Some people feel unsettled near them without knowing why. You may have witnessed this. Someone growing tense or withdrawn around a person who has done absolutely nothing to provoke it. No confrontation, no words, just an unspoken discomfort that neither person can fully name. This is what happens when a soul carrying unresolved darkness enters the presence of a chosen one. Their energy is clarifying. Like standing near still water on a clear day, you cannot help but see your own reflection. And for those who have grown comfortable avoiding that reflection, the clarity feels threatening. So they create distance. They find reasons to criticize. They tell stories about the chosen one that have nothing to do with the chosen one. But underneath all of that is something simple. It is not the chosen one they are retreating from. It is the version of themselves they see when they get too close. And that is a mirror most people are not yet ready to stand in front of. 4. Their absence reveals how much they were quietly holding. There are people in our lives who carry more than we ever acknowledge, until the day they are no longer there. A chosen one does not just occupy a place in your world. They bring something into it. A groundedness, a quiet covering, a steadying presence that holds things together in ways that go unnoticed until they are gone. When they walk away, from a friendship, a relationship, A space they once filled, you feel it before you can explain it. A peace that was present disappears. Doors that once opened begin to close. Something that felt stable starts to shift. You look around and slowly understand. They were not simply someone in your life. They were a grace in it. And you did not fully see it until you were left with the space where they used to be. Losing a chosen one is not only a personal experience, it is a spiritual one. 5. Their rising answers every voice that ever doubted them. There were people who believed they had seen the last of a chosen one's potential, who watched them in their lowest season and decided that was all there was. But a chosen one has a quality that hardship cannot remove: the ability to be transformed by it rather than defined by it. Every season of rejection became the soil for something deeper. Every moment of being underestimated became fuel for a growth that needed no audience. And slowly, without spectacle, they rose. Not to prove anything, not to silence anyone, simply because a soul aligned with purpose does not stay buried. It finds its way to light. And as you watch them ascend, you realize they never needed your belief to become who they already were. Their elevation is not a statement directed at you. It is simply what happens when a life is built on something unshakable. 6. Standing near them forces you to face yourself. This may be the most quietly powerful thing a chosen one carries. They do not correct you. They do not lecture you. They simply live, with consistency, with integrity, with a peace that does not waver. And in the presence of that kind of living, the gap between who you are and who you know you are meant to be becomes visible. Their gentleness reveals the places you have been harsh. Their patience highlights the places you have been reactive. Their steadiness illuminates the places you have been inconsistent. This is not judgment. It is contrast. And contrast, when we are honest with ourselves, is one of the most powerful invitations to change. The chosen one is not holding up a mirror to shame you. They are simply being who they are. What you do with what you see, that is entirely yours to decide. 7. When they release something to the divine, the ground shifts. Do not overlook the spiritual weight a chosen one carries in moments of prayer and surrender. They do not pray for harm to come to those who wronged them. They do not ask for suffering or retaliation. But they do seek something higher, a justice that is beyond their own hands. And when they release what they have been carrying, fully, completely, without reservation, something begins to move. What was unresolved starts to settle. What was hidden begins to surface. What was taken finds its way back. Not through the chosen one's doing, but through the natural movement of truth finding its rightful place. For those who acted against a chosen one, what follows is not punishment delivered by human hands. It is simply the return of what was set in motion. Consequences meeting choices in their own time and in their own form. 8. Instead of returning what was done to them, they rise above it. You might expect retaliation. You might wait for them to respond in kind, to bring back the same pain, the same words, the same energy that was thrown at them. But they do not. They go quiet. They go inward. And they choose, not because they are without feeling, but because they are more committed to their healing than to their wounds, to let it go. In doing so, they do something that cannot be undone. They step out of the cycle entirely. They reclaim their energy. They return to themselves, lighter, clearer, and no longer defined by what was done to them. There is a profound strength in a soul that had every reason to retaliate and chose peace instead. 9. They trust that balance will come without their interference. A chosen one understands something about the nature of things. What you extend into the world returns to you. Not always immediately, not always visibly, but always. So they do not keep record. They do not track what was done to them or wait impatiently for things to be made right. They simply release and trust that the universe, in its own timing and its own way, holds everything in balance. And it does. Not because they wished it, but because that is simply how things work. Every choice carries a return. Every action plants a seed. And by the time that seed surfaces, the chosen one has already moved forward. No longer watching, no longer waiting, already becoming who they were always meant to be. This is the nature of a chosen one. Not powerful in the way the world measures power, not loud, not forceful, not built on dominance or demand, but powerful in the way that matters most, grounded in truth, rooted in peace, and carrying a light that does not diminish simply because others could not recognize it. If these words found something in you, if something stirred while you were listening, let that stirring be meaningful. It may be recognition. It may be your soul meeting something it has always known. And if a chosen one has passed through your life, honor that quietly. Not all gifts arrive with ceremony. Some come gently, change everything without making a sound, and leave you more whole than they found you. This is the Messages of the Awakening channel. If this reached you, it was meant to. Leave 1111 in the comments. Subscribe if you are ready to walk this path. Thank you for being here.